Hello again, this is Hayes Jones, and this is HQ Videos, and finishing up my sci-fi Blu-ray collection. And I believe we left off with the remake of RoboCop. Decent for a remake, just the original RoboCop has a certain nuance, kind of an 80s thing that's really kind of hard to duplicate. That brings me to the original trilogy of RoboCop. Again, the first one was great with Peter Weller, or the first two with Peter Weller. Second one, not as good as the first. Third one just really got weird with really some samurai kind of RoboCop, but it's definitely worth a look if you haven't seen RoboCop. Definitely worth watching the trilogy. And this is the backside of the artwork and the slipcover to the trilogy. Then we're going to the remake of Rollerball with LL, Jean Reno, and Chris Klein. I honestly don't remember this. I watched the original with, I believe, James Caan. Very cool, the original. The remake, from what I can remember, not so much. But I'm going to watch this again just so I can familiarize myself with the remake. But again, the original was very good with James Caan. We have a classic Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you haven't seen this, need to get out of the closet. Great sci-fi flick, Running Man. Sands of Oblivion, an Anchor Bay purchase. I saw this a while ago. Adam Baldwin's in it. Probably the only person I can really identify. Just an okay sci-fi flick. A little bit of Stargate-esque type of sci-fi movie. The classic Scanners 2 and Scanners 3. I actually have the Criterion collection of Scanners 1. First Scanners is great. The other two, they get a little cheesy, but it's 80s type of sci-fi, so definitely worth the watch. And this is, oops. And we have Signs from M. Night Shyamalan. Not as good as The Sixth Sense, but still a good picture. Skyline, I actually like this. It's a different type of sci-fi. The sequel was not that great, but the first one is definitely worth a watch. Kurt Russell's a soldier. He's somewhat kind of like a universal type of soldier who's outlived his usefulness, and he kind of goes to this remote planet and helps him out in their situation. Great sci-fi flick, Kurt Russell. Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal and Vera Farmiga. Forgot that she was actually in this. Dealing with, I'm not sure if this is the correct word, some type of transformation where artificial intelligence meshes with actual human consciousness. So interesting picture, Source Code. Space Warriors, very cheesy kind of kid space flick. I think it's kind of try to take off of a space camp. You have Danny Glover, Mira Sorvino, just a okay, corny type of sci-fi flick. Then we have Splice. Splice to me is kind of like Species, just a little more updated version. Weird scene with Adrian Brody and the alien life form. Kind of weird sexual scene. I'll leave it at that. Then we have the remake of Star Trek with Chris Pine, J.J. Abrams. I thought they did a fantastic job of casting Captain Kirk and especially Spock. So great remake, Star Trek. And we have Stargate. Get another sci-fi class with Kurt Russell. And actually I had to get another copy. For some reason, the original Blu-ray just stopped working. So I have 2 copies of Stargate. Super 8, J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg. Great kid sci-fi flick. It's like Goonies meets, I don't know, whatever sci-fi flick you can ever think of. Goonies meet E.T. is that type of movie, Super 8. Actually saw this along with the Transformers movie the day I got married to my wife. So has a special significance in my life. Super 8. Then we have Surrogates with Bruce Willis. Interesting sci-fi film, but basically everyone has somewhat of an avatar and everyone's living online. And it doesn't seem like we're too far from that in reality right now. Surrogates. Then we have Tekken, which was actually somehow adapted from a video game that I'm not familiar with, but it's more of a martial arts type of picture. My son enjoyed it. It's not really great, but it is decent. You have Tekken 2. I believe I got this at the Dollar Tree. Got the nice slipcover. Tekken 2 Kazuya, I believe, Revenge. Don't remember a lot about this. I'll have to watch this again. I didn't watch them back to back like I normally would, Tekken and Tekken 2. Then we have Arnold and the Terminator series. If you haven't seen the Terminator, again, get out the closet. Fantastic series, sci-fi series, possibly one of the best, arguably. But you have Terminator, the back art. Terminator 2, arguably one of the best sci-fi movies. And you have the back art. Then you have Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. No back art for that one. And the director's cut of Terminator Salvation, which was, out of all the Terminators, probably my least favorite. And there's Terminator Genesis, but that's also in my 3D folder. Then we have the classical John Carpenter's The Thing, again with Kurt Russell. Great sci-fi film. We have the remake, which was not as good as the original as usual, but still worth a good like. Actually, it's more of I believe it's a prequel to The Thing, if I remember correctly. We have the 13th Floor. I believe this deals with time travel. Don't remember a lot about this. I have to watch this on one of my Saturday afternoons when I have some free time. And that's the back cover art. 13th Floor. And we have Disney's Tomorrowland with George Clooney. Really fun, futuristic kind of flick. More Arnold Schwarzenegger with Total Recall. Again, classic Arnold. And we have the back cover art. The remake of Total Recall with Colin Farrell and Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel. Not bad. Again, very rarely is a remake better than the original, but not a bad, worth a look if you haven't seen it. Total Recall, the remake. And the back art with Colin Farrell. Trying to look tough. And we have the Transformers series, arguably one of the best sci-fi series, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And if the complete set's not in here, they're probably divided between one kind of slipcover and also my 3D collection. But Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And we have the Tron Classic, the original. At the time, I think it was very high-tech as far as sci-fi movies. Storyline was a little slow, but again, the special effects were great for the time. And I have the sequel also in 3D. And I have the Tremors Attack Pack. I don't have the most recent one. I think there's a Tremors 5 I haven't seen. My son seems to like these. First Tremors, fantastic. I don't think I've seen the other 3. Here's the back art. Tremors. And I love Ultraviolet. It's a different view on vampirism. For some odd reason, on Blu-ray they only had the PG-13 theatrical cut. I have the uncut version on DVD, but for some reason Blu-ray I can't find it. They don't have the uncut version, and I'm not sure why. I've seen the DVD uncut version. I'm not sure what they really left out. Here's the back art. Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. Very different type of sci-fi film. I'm not going to pass judgment on it because it really was something. It was so different. If I were to judge it now, it would probably be a negative review. But it's just very different view on what an alien would be and what an alien would be like interacting with people. So definitely worth a look. Very different. Vice with Bruce Willis. It's kind of one of his straight to DVD, Blu-ray, VHS type of movies. Not great, but just kind of a fun watch on a Sunday afternoon. Vice. Victor Frankenstein with Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy. I like James McAvoy from the X-Men series, and I like Daniel Radcliffe from Harry Potter. Very impressed that he was able to somewhat escape the Harry Potter persona and branch out into other types of movies. Victor Frankenstein, very fun type of take on the Frankenstein story. And here's a little special artwork for Victor Frankenstein. War Games, this is classic Matthew Broderick, right up there with Ferris Bueller. And Dabney Coleman, John Wood, and Ali Sheedy. So, really fun 80s adventure. I don't call it sci-fi too much. Basically, a kid hacks into the defense grid and things go from there. Very fun picture, War Games. Tom Cruise remake of War of the Worlds. I'm not sure what number remake it was. This is, since the original was in black and white. I think in maybe the 40s. But great take on War of the Worlds. Tom Cruise does a great job in here. Can't think of the other guy, Tim, whatever, the guy in Shawshank Redemption. He has a great part in this movie also. If you haven't seen War of the Worlds, definitely worth a look. And possibly one of my favorite television series, X-Files. I'm a big sci-fi fan. I love the X-Files. X-Files movies. First one was I like the first one. The second one, not as much, but if you're X-Files fans, you'll like how they incorporated the television series with the movies. I think they did a pretty good job considering the restraints. And that's the second movie. And this is the slipcover. And this completes my sci-fi Blu-ray collection. So hopefully you like my sci-fi Blu-ray collection. If there's some sci-fi movies that you like that you didn't see, please add in the comments. I have some that you do like, add in the comments also. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to hit the thumbs up, so please hit the thumbs up. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Peace.